This has been the most extraordinary experience of my entire life.
This video is not about what you are thinking. Before we start this video, I want to set an expectation. I'm not going to talk about Taylor Swift as a person or of her music. In fact, I'm completely new and barely listen to her music. But what baffles me is how Taylor Swift at 36 has managed to become one of the most influential women on this planet. I'll give you a background on why I decided to make this video. I think it is very important to understand the reasoning behind it. If you have watched my other videos, I usually make videos on self-improvement and discipline. But after reading countless books on self-improvement and success, I have come to realize that what you do in terms of physical work only accounts for half of the success in life. The other 50% totally depends upon psychological work that you put in. What do I mean by psychological work? And you may ask, why Taylor Swift? I'll tell you why. She has been an interesting case study for me for the last few months. The main reason I choose her as my first case study is because of her sheer influence on people, especially teenage girls and suburban white women. Whether you are a Taylor Swift fan or not, this video will provide you with much needed wake-up call on how strategies play on your overall success. If you think her power comes just from her music, you are missing the point and somewhat delusional. There are people in this world who indeed could write better lyrics or sing, but none of these people have been able to make as much as impact as her in people's life. It's not just about her music, it's much more than that. It's about her strategy and how she has managed to rise from nobody to one of the most powerful people in the world. I won't be talking about other factors like her rich parents' contribution or her white privilege. Those might have been important factors, but regardless of how privileged you are, it is near impossible to stay on top unless you adapt yourself to ever-changing circumstances. Taylor Swift has managed to do exactly that. The only way to ensure that you remain on top is by implementing strategies that very few people know about. We'll be looking at those strategies that she adopted through the lens 48 laws of power. Alright, let's get into it. Strategy number 1, what I like to call the mask of authenticity. When I ask people why do they like Taylor Swift so much, they answer, of course because of her authenticity. But there is a caveat to it. Most people don't understand the difference between authenticity and the relatability. Do you think people want authenticity? They don't want your authenticity. They want something to relate to. Even as a billionaire, she gives people exactly what they want. She knows that being too honest and authentic all the time could be a dangerous game for her career, revealing too much in the process, appearing too common. People like her could go insane considering the amount of adoration and hate she gets. Thus, she has developed a careful strategy of crafting a mask for the public. This controls all the narratives she wants to present in the world, but with the hint of authenticity. You'll find this in her music as well as her personal life. She leaves a lot of details about her personal life for people to speculate, but while never confirming anything specific. This brings a mysterious element to her persona. This makes people want more and more of her. Not only this strategy in itself is so effective, but this also leads to mastering in her second strategy, which is creating a cult-like following. Before we get into this strategy, I want to read a paragraph from the book 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene says in his book, people have an overwhelming desire to believe in something. Become a focal point of such desire by offering them a cause. a new faith to follow. Keep your words vague but full of promises. Emphasis enthusiasm over rationality and clear thinking. Give your new discipline rituals to follow. Ask them to make sacrifices on your behalf. In the absence of organized religion and grand cause, your new belief system will bring you untold amount of power. There is no better example of this strategy than Taylor Swift. She has successfully managed to create a cult-like following who are willing to do anything for her, from defending her to making sacrifices to purchasing thousands of dollars on tickets. How did she do that? This is one of the hardest strategies to master. If we want to understand this aspect of human nature, we need to go back in time and find out when she started to get attention. She made music when she was a teenager and made songs especially about young women and their problems. She then carefully developed this parasocial relationship with millions of people, especially women, who arrive upon her music generally at very psychological vulnerable point in their lives, like after a breakup. Most of these women are older now, but are still emotionally invested in her life as she is still very close friend. She is 36, but people still see her as that first friendship who they connected on much deeper level. In camera, she always shows this vulnerability and innocence in her looks. She also dresses younger to resonate more with her audience. One of the deepest human desire is to relive their childhood and their teenage years, those carefree times, and to feel younger again. She lets people relive this desire to feel child again by her looks, by her way of dressing up, and through her. This creates a god-like persona, appealing to deepest human fantasies, curiosities, and unfulfilled dreams. Now, once you have a cult-like following, you need to stay active and relevant. She does this by managing to stay on a headline at any cost, whether it's a new projects, tours, or new boyfriends. She knows that either she needs to stay relevant at all times or get vanished like everybody else. That's why you see nowadays news are always linked back to Taylor Swift. She's so big that everybody wants to be connected to her. This in itself is ever growing upward spiral. If you use this strategy carefully to your advantage, nobody can touch you, just like God. Third strategy she uses is generosity to disarm others. Disarming others has been a crucial strategy that has helped Taylor Swift remain on the top for the longest amount of time. Most of the humans envy other people's success, and when you're already this popular and famous, there will be individuals who will seek to tear you down just out of envy and jealousy. Taylor Swift knows this human nature all too well. She does everything to stay on top of charts and win awards. This is partly due to her competitiveness nature and motivation. However, what sets her apart is her approach once she achieves these milestones. She shows that she is cheering and trying to help everybody else as a public persona. By publicly campaigning for other people's success, she disarms others who will otherwise be extremely jealous of her success. She eliminates her competition, making them allies in the process. It is much easier to stay on top when there are few people against you. This is a crucial strategy that will keep her influence for a long time to come. It doesn't matter what you think about Taylor Swift, whether you like her or not, it is completely irrelevant. What you need to do is learn from her and use those strategies in your life. Not just from her, you'll find people who use these strategies all the time at your workplace, at your neighborhood. You should be able to detect it, dissect it, and learn from it. One last thing before I end this video. You need to remember, people are not inherently good or evil. every human is equally capable of good and evil. Everybody is driven and always acting on a self-interest. The only way to become successful is to take good things from everybody you know. Even the most evil dictator in this world, there is something to learn from. Be aware of the actions and utilize them carefully. The rest of the world will submit to your power.